This is hanging planter number 1. It's a spider plant, and you can see here that, well, first of all, it's in a north window, and it originally was raised to get really bushy on the south window. So the not getting enough light here, I just had to do some major trimming and pruning. But you'll see here that I put an extender, a brass hook in the ceiling with a O-ring, solid brass O-ring, and then a macrame extender in a spiral shape with another O-ring and an S hook and another O-ring. All that hardware, the metal is solid brass, I think, except for maybe the ceiling hook. And then as you come down, it's very simple. There's no weaving on the, there's a very simple attachment at the hook, at the O-ring, and then there's no weaving on this part coming straight off the top O-ring, and comes down to the pot, and then there's a square knot, and it branches off to another square knot down here, and then heads on under, and you can see where the lines all come together, and another fastener, rope fastening technique, and then you can see the tassels hanging down off the bottom. And this is my shorter tassel version. So I'm thinking if we wanted to go with this with all the brass, that I could just take it over and probably put it in the window closest to the nail salon. So if this is of interest, it's rated a 2 out of 3 in terms of light needs. Right now it's probably getting a 1 quality light. Hanging planter 2 is some shade-loving plants and an assortment of clippings that my daughter-in-law gave me, so I'm pretty attached to this because she gave it to me. But you can see it's the brass hook that goes into the ceiling, the O-ring, brass O-ring, and a different type of weave on the extender. Comes down and then joins with an S hook the 2 different rings, and then comes down, and then there's quite an elaborate weave on these pieces that come down directly from the O-ring, and you can see the intricacy of the weave. It comes down to the pot and then branches out down here, branches out, and then you get some square knots, and then it joins together at the base at the saucer, and then shoots under, and then you can see this is a longer tail. So could do something like that. This is planter number 3, another spider plant, and you can see the extender coming down from the ceiling, brass ceiling hook, brass O-ring, another brass O-ring, an S hook, another onto a brass ring, and then this piece that comes down from the top, from this O-ring right here. It's not woven, it just comes straight down, and you can see it comes down to the pot, and then it's just got a I don't know what they call it, an overhand knot or something. It's the simplest knot. Then it branches, goes down to the saucer right here, another one of those overhand knots, and then dives down under, and then you can see that it's a shorter tail on the macrame. And this one is in a north window too. It's getting a little more light, but it wasn't filled out like the one I showed you, the first number 1. And I think it could use some more light. So that's another thing. And you'll notice that this one is a ceramic pot, terracotta, unglazed, just like the one downstairs, number 1. Number 2 is a glazed white pot that I picked up over at McGuckin's. Very nice pot. Okay, so now I'll show you another one. Number 4 is another spider plant, and this one is the same kind of thing with the brass hook in the ceiling, the brass eyelets, the brass O-rings on the extender, both ends, and then a smaller S-ring because it's a lighter weight pot. The top O-ring and the fastener there, and then an intricate, this is called a square knot macrame design that's straight and then it spirals and then it comes down to the pot. So when you see it on the pot, you see here it comes down over the lip of the pot and branches out into square knots and then goes back under in a square knot configuration, comes together underneath and then forms a tail. And this one has a longer tail, you can see, and that's an option. And these tails, I'm going to unravel this more and turn it into smaller strands because I think bushy tails look nicer. Number 5 is another, of course, another spider plant. I love spider plants, by the way, and they're also good. They're good for cleaning indoor air. So this is a glazed pot, and you can see that it fastens to the ceiling without an extender because they made longer pieces coming down straight from the ceiling, and then it's a very simple design. It's just got the overhead knot on it here, overhand knot at the pot rim, and then it comes down to the base, and let's see if I can get there. Joins at the base, comes down, and just feeds right underneath without a tie at the base of the saucer, and then it gets its ponytail, and you can see this is a really long ponytail. And so we've got the brass hook and a brass ceiling, and then we have a glazed pot. And the glazed pot is pretty. They're running short on them at McGuckin's now. Could probably pick up a purple one if we're lucky. I also like their cobalt blue and their white. It seems to me like plants like the unglazed terracotta better because you get more breathing into the soil and the roots, and less water retention, so then you get less root rot. That's the final one. Yeah, so here are the questions for you. Do you want glazed or unglazed pots? Very important consideration. I think they both look really nice, and I like the natural look of the unglazed terracotta myself. Second question, do you like the brass hardware? I can also get the hardware in black, like the cast iron look that I think that's kind of the look that I feel when I'm in the office with the doorknobs and all the hinges and stuff. And so if you want me to match that, I can do that. Do you like the jute as a macrame material? I personally do, but they also have just plain white cotton and different color cottons. And do you like intricate weaving, or do you just like the simple look, without all the weaving on the lines that come down from the O-rings? And so those are questions that need to be answered. So let's get together on this, and also, what do you think about putting up a spider plant right away over there near the nail salon and just see how it holds up? If it doesn't hold up and you still like the spider plant, we can always just move it farther away from the window. Hang it either on the wall off of a, like one of those, I don't know what you call them, but they go horizontal over the floor, and then you have a hook and it comes down. Or we can do a ceiling mount there too. So we have a lot of choices here. We can always change our minds later on and put something different up. But I think if we want to get some plants up right away, we can start with one of these spider plants. I was looking at an ivy trailing, what do you call them, geranium, which was a really interesting concept, and it, just kind of, it spilled all the way out of the basket and met down on the bottom, and it has flowers, and it's pretty, not real particular about the lighting conditions. And of course, we need to ask also, does it matter if your animal should chew up one of these and swallow it? Is it okay if they vomit a little bit? Because some of these things are considered toxic to animals, I'm sorry. Okay, so that's it for the tour. Thanks for listening and watching.